Pleasure to meet you, sir.
Nice to meet you, ma'am. What's your name?
My name's Abigail Baker. And yours?
Cody Q.
Nice, Cody Q. It's a
Nice
pleasure
to-
to meet you.
Nice to meet you as well. So, tell us about yourself a little bit and why you're applying for the position.
Well, I'm applying for the 2015 summer internship for the Rightwell Project based out of the New England Aquarium. I'm applying for this position because I believe that I'm very well suited for it. I think I'm well suited because I've been studying marine environmental technology for a year and a half now at Florida Keys Community College.
Nice.
I also believe that I'm a little suited for the position because I spent a full year in high school interning with the Echo Lake Aquarium and Science Center in Burlington, Vermont. My duties there included leading an educational touch tank where our visitors were able to come and both learn and feel the organisms that were in there. In the touch tank, we had creatures like starfish and sea urchins.
All kinds of stuff.
Yeah, all kinds of stuff.
Nice. So, tell me two of your greatest strengths and what they'll bring to the workplace.
Well, I believe a strength that I have, the first strength that I'd like to speak about today, is my ability to communicate well with people of all kinds. I believe that I have, from a very young age, been able to communicate very well with people, both one-on-one, and in pairs or in larger groups. I've spent a lot of my school years playing on team sports, and I think that I have been a very good leader on those team sports. I've had a couple captainships, so it's a very good way. I believe team sports are a very good way to kind of get yourself out there and get you communicating, and I think because I've been doing that for so long, that's one of my greatest strengths, is being able to communicate with people of all ages and groups of all sizes.
Nice. It's kind of natural to you then.
Correct.
And what would be your other strength?
My second strength, I believe, would be my Spitfire personality. From a very young age, I have been labeled Spitfire, and it's always kind of stuck with me. I'm always going and giving 100%, which I think could be very beneficial to the Rightwell Project's internship.
Definitely need hard workers out here.
I believe so.
So, with those being your greatest weaknesses, strengths rather, what is your greatest weakness?
I believe my greatest weakness would be the ability, not the ability, but the fact that sometimes I think too quickly. There's a very good example right there a couple seconds ago. I find my brain racing very often, and although sometimes I think that can be a strength that comes with the Spitfire personality,
Quick decisions.
I think that sometimes it can be a hindrance due to those quick decisions. And also sometimes I think it can be a hindrance because I think so fast that I can overlook minuscule things.
Gotcha. Well, our next question is about working as a team, so that should definitely help you out. Tell us about a time when you were working with a group of people and what your role was.
I think a very good example of when I worked in a team environment, and not a classic one like a team sport, would be my time spent at the Dolphin Research Center. It was a group of about 10 to 12 students, and we spent our time there working with the dolphins, researching their cognitive ability and their ability to echolocate. And I felt like it was a very good team environment because we both studied and lived together. It was an intensive week-long program. I think my time spent at the Dolphin Research Center was a very good opportunity for me to learn and work in a team environment because I felt like we were all contributing to each other's learning ability. We were all putting in effort and getting out communal knowledge, which I thought was very rewarding.
Nice. And did you know any of these people beforehand?
I did not know a single person
Nice. And you
beforehand.
guys worked out well together then.
We did.
That's awesome. So, one more question. Give a specific example of a pressure situation you've experienced on the job and how it was handled.
Well, currently I'm working at Hogfish Bar and Grill, which is a restaurant in the Florida Keys. And if you've ever worked in the hospitality industry, you know that it can get a little hectic at points. Sometimes you just have that one customer who is just either off from the beginning, or they're just in a grumpy mood, or sometimes it can be the kitchen messing up that sets them off, or the hostess seats them in a place they don't want to sit in. But people can be very grouchy and rude towards me, the server, because I'm the one who deals with them the most. And I think that some ways that I deal with that would be to get to the root of the problem. I think that it's very valuable in hectic situations and in situations where people's emotions are either fiery or flared, to, as a first step, take a step back from everything and just kind of relax and decompress, in even if that's for just a couple minutes or a half an hour or whatever that may be. I think that after that time period, it can be very valuable to get to the root of the problem. And once I get to the root of the problem and hear everybody's side of the problem, I like to, from there, address a solution to it.
Nice. Seems like a very practical manner. Could you tell us how you would describe your ideal job?
Well, in my brain now, I have an ideal job for the immediate future and an ideal job for the extended future. For the immediate future, I would like to graduate college and go into the field of conservation. I think that the field of conservation would be very beneficial and rewarding to me personally, and obviously to our oceans. Our oceans are being vastly depleted at a rate that's just honestly unfathomable to me. So I would really like to have a part in the ceasing of that abuse towards our oceans. So an ideal job for me would be working with the state or local government to conserve our oceans.
Awesome.
Yeah, that conservation could be on anything from coral reefs to reef fish biology or to seagrass beds. So that is a very large option for me that I would like to explore. And in the extended future, my essential dream job for the far, far future would be to own my own dive shop. I would like to own an ecotourism dive shop where I led tours and leased rentals to both locals and tourists, and gave them a really one-on-one and descriptive view of the ocean and what lives inside of it. And I would just like to inform and enlighten, as well as show them our local and surrounding area.
Awesome. So, with the education you've had so far, how would you say it's prepared you for those ideal jobs?
The education I've had so far, I think, has actually really prepared me well for working in the marine biology business and the conservation and dive business. At Florida Keys Community College, I've been taking really rigorous courses that I think would help me with that in the future. One course I find very beneficial to me right now is marine data collection. We have been learning lots about seagrasses and the conservation and the depletion of pollution on our ocean. I think that my prior schooling experience would help me with the Right Whale Project internship, because, as I said, my time at the Dolphin Research Center was very beneficial to me by kind of showing me and giving me firsthand experience with marine mammals and bottlenose dolphins in particular.
Nice. It's kind of hands-on experience.
Exactly.
And one last question about you, somewhat. So, sometimes when people receive criticism about their work, they become defensive or they shut down a little bit. my question is, how do you respond to criticism of your work?
I believe that I respond to criticism in a very receiving way. I always like to know when I'm doing something incorrectly or I'm doing something not to someone else's standards. So, for example, just the other day at Hogfish, I received some criticism from my manager because I had been asking when I receive a check from somebody with cash in it, I had been asking, do you want change? Like, can I get you any change with that? And she said it could be beneficial for me in the future to say, I'll bring that change right back. And if they don't want change, they're going to tell me right away. Just because that's kind of a more polite way to ask rather than, like, can I just keep all of this?
Right.
So I like to respond to criticism by altering my actions to be open to their criticism.
Awesome. Keep an open mind. It's a good way to attack it. All right. Well, I think that's all we have for you. So thank you very much. I appreciate your
Thank you.
time.
Pleasure to meet you.
Nice to meet you.